Republican Congressman Michael McCaul of the great state of Texas, chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee, also on the Homeland Security Committee. Let's talk about what's going on with the President of the United States. I'm going to ask my team, Chairman, can we put the numbers back up? 86% of all voters, Democrats, independents included, Biden is too old for another term. Your reaction to these numbers?
Not surprising. The fact that the special counsel confirms everyone's suspicions out there and the poll numbers confirm this. I mean, the question is, when I read the special counsel report, the idea that he's mentally unfit to stand trial begs the question, is he mentally unfit to be president of the United States, the commander-in-chief? And from my perch on the Foreign Affairs Committee, I look at our foreign adversaries, right? And I look at Iran and Russia and China. And, when you look at the Israel situation, Iran respects our military might, but they question the political will of this president as he projects weakness, not strength, projects mentally unfit states of mind. I think this really calls into question our national security.
I want to get to this. President Biden tries to bounce back from the Hur report, fears of weakness on the world stage. This is some commentary here. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is back in the hospital. That's a full report. The Pentagon released this statement yesterday. Secretary Austin was transported by his security detail to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center to be seen for symptoms suggesting an emergent bladder issue. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the White House, and Congress have been notified. And I should say this time, because we know what has led up to this point, days of secrecy with this Secretary of Defense. This comes after major criticism surrounding his secretive hospitalization. I want to get your take on it. Maybe there's some things that you can tell us about his fill-in, his deputy, Kathleen Hicks, to make the world feel better, because we are under attack like never before in the Middle East, and there are two wars going on that we have to be at least monitoring.
Well, nobody likes to see a president who is in a almost dementia state of mind. Nobody likes to see the Secretary of Defense incapacitated in the hospital because he's got a major bladder infection from prostate surgery. But I have to look at the hard facts here, Harris. And the fact is the Secretary of Defense is essentially incapacitated. And according to the special counsel, we have a commander-in-chief that's essentially incapacitated. What kind of message does that send to our foreign adversaries in a very dangerous time? I cannot stress to you the importance that the world is on fire right now. And if we're not projecting strength, but rather weakness, it only invites aggression and conflict and war. And that's precisely what we're seeing right now.
Chairman, I'm going to re-ask, because I know you covered a lot there, just double back on Kathleen Hicks. Look, I know people are given jobs for their, hopefully, for their merits, for their resumes. What can you tell us? Because this is a whole lot, and we haven't heard from her. She wasn't even the first person they notified when he was hospitalized the first time.
Well, the question is, did the Secretary of Defense tell his staff not to talk about this, or did Kathleen Hicks not do her job? And so, there are many in the administration trying to throw the Chief of Staff under the bus, and others saying that the Secretary of Defense told the staff not to talk about it. It was very personal around Christmas holidays. Yeah. We don't have all the facts, but we will, because it's just too important.
You think we will?
Well, I know the Armed Services Committee is having hearings, on this to get to the bottom of this. But we need to know. It's inexcusable for the Secretary of Defense to be, under an operation without notifying the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, who he reports to.
And that was December.
Especially right now.
Yeah, that was December. This time we are notified he's gone into a critical care unit, in fact, at Walter Reed. We'll follow it. And as you say, with our hearts, we don't want anybody to be in harm's way. But if the rest of the country is depending on these people, we need to know what's happening and who is really in charge. Well, there's also the border crisis, Biden's border crisis. 1 week after a failed vote, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas faces another House impeachment attempt tomorrow. He's accused of willfully refusing to follow our nation's immigration laws. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise will be back on the Capitol Hill for the first time this year after blood cancer treatment, and that could tip the scales this time. The secretary defending himself and the administration over the crisis this weekend.
More migrants have crossed the border illegally last year than ever before. The asylum cases backlog has more than tripled since 2019. Why do you deserve to keep your job, Mr. Secretary?
The data that you cite is a powerful example of why we need legislation to fix what everyone agrees is a broken immigration system. It certainly is a crisis, and we don't bear responsibility for a broken system, and we're doing a tremendous amount within that broken system. But fundamentally, Congress is the only one who can fix it.
I had people coming up asking me in the past few days, why can't you fire this man? Why didn't the Republicans get it done? Why didn't you?
Well, we're going to on Tuesday. Steve Scalise is coming back. I'll be a floor manager in the trial. But, you know, this is classic Mayorkas. He didn't answer that question. What he said, he didn't say, here's how to fix the border. He talks about immigration reform, two different subject matter areas.
Absolutely.
And so he's not addressing what the president could do today to go back to the policies that worked under the Trump administration by executive order. Problem is the president wants Congress to tell him how to do it for political cover rather than do it himself. And he could do it today. We passed H.R. 2 that went to the Senate. But the fact is, this man is the architect of destruction, and he has caused the chaos knowingly, it really by design, not by accident.
Chairman, just real quickly, how long ago did H.R. 2 go to the Senate, just so we keep track?
Months ago.
Yeah.
Months ago.
Like summer.
And they've yet to act on it, and they couldn't even pass a border bill. But the fact is, Remain in Mexico is a 30-year-old statute on the books. 30 years old. It's not like Congress has to pass a bunch of new laws. The president could change this today if he wanted to.
If you could flip the switch on Donald Trump's policies when he was president, then you can flip them back for the better of the country.
Exactly.
All right,
exactly
we'll be
right.
monitoring to see what happens. You say it will happen in the House, that you will impeach Mayorkas, and we'll follow every moment. And so glad to have you in focus. Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.